Nomad at Night, starring the one and only Nomad.
Yo, what's up, Nomaniacs? What's good? This is Nomad at Night. I'm your host, Nomad, and I got my couple of trustees with me. My guy, the Canuck, over to my right, and right below us, we have J2K, producer extraordinaire, right underneath us, ready to go tonight, man. I'm ready to talk about some football. I know every podcast comes out and say, "Oh, I'm so excited about this season. I'm excited to talk about football." Nope, I really am, man, and I'm really gassed up about the season. And now that we're right around the corner from the rookies actually coming to Hallis Hall, which is on Tuesday. On Tuesday, rookies will be at Hallis Hall. On the 19th, we will have veterans at Hallis Hall. Jacked up is not really the way to describe how I feel right now. I got a feeling over me that's really resonating. And, you know, this season is coming. We've been on kind of a hiatus for the most part, producing in the back, just working on stuff that we got for you guys moving forward. Of course, kids, this show, we'll be talking about that too. But also, we've got the website that is ready to purchase for anybody out there that wants to buy the merchandise. We're going to review that too. But we also have some special guests for you guys. Some people I know for sure, at least one of them you can't see coming at all. You just cannot see that person coming. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but I'm telling you guys right now, you're going to be surprised to see him. I'm pleased to have him with us. And another guy that is a podcaster that I'm eager to make acquaintances with and do some stuff in conjunction with him. Man, I think he does awesome work, and I'm glad to have him on the show tonight too. I'm not going to drop any names yet, but before I go any further, let me pass it on to the Canuck, and I think he's going to roll out our first guest.
Hey, that's me. Cheers, Bears fans. Sunday night, it's Nomad at Night. Get it on.
What we drinking, by the way, man?
Now I got a little enemy. Let's get to all you guys. Give you guys a little bit of love out there for giving us love and showing up on time, like we ever show up on time. But I'll take all the heat for that. Patty Laura's out there with us. What it do, Patty? J Grizz, She Plank. How are you? We've also got Damon Dice, FFG style, Bear Ski Films down with us today. Brian Hendrins, Country Santa. How are you, sir? Big shout out to my guy, Keith the Bishop. What it do, Keith? You out there? We got the Nodge with us today. King Booker World, Black Diamond, it's Crimson. Cornelius Squalls, number 3, No Maniac. And who else we got out there? Did I miss anybody in the mix?
Hunter.
I don't think I missed anybody in the mix. I think I got them all, except for perhaps one guy I didn't happen to include. That guy kind of looks a little bit like this. It's our guy Plank represented with us. Number 1 No Maniac Plank. What it do, Plank?
The Plank.
Down.
The Plankster decided to hold it down with us today on Nomad at Night. She Plank's with us. It's going to be an awesome episode, y'all. Hey, Plank, you got anything to say?
Bear down.
As always.
Hey,
I love it.
I've been trying my behind off to get Plank on. We just been the signals getting crossed and everything, and didn't line up for a while. But I am so happy to have Plank on here, man. He's always there. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate Plank with all the support, man. He's always there. The first one letting us know how much he's supporting us all the time, every single show. And that stuff right there, you know, I reward that love and loyalty. Like it means a lot to me. It's deep. You know what I mean? I know everybody feels the same way, Plank. So, man, I definitely appreciate you and the missus, man, for always looking after us every time we do something and being in support of us, man. So I'm so pleased to have you here. Do not be nervous, man. This is your family, and we're here to have a good time, man.
That's it.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. I really do. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, man. So, hey, J2K, how you feeling, man? What's going on?
Good. Excited that we got training camp starting on Tuesday, and we got veterans coming in on Friday. Football is right around the corner. But more importantly, the number one no maniac, Plank, out of the chat, into the building, onto the screen. So glad to have you here tonight, Plank. We appreciate all the support. Shout out to everybody in the chat, as always. Hope everybody had a great weekend. So we got a jam-packed show tonight. Nomad kind of kicked it off a little bit. We got we got another special guest. We got the website to review. So let's get into it.
Well, real quick, man, because Plank can't. I believe Plank can't see the chat, man. You're getting a lot of love, man. It's a lot
Just what? Yeah, just what comes up on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of love, man. Just put it out. I'll put that out there for you, so you know. It's a lot of people that are glad to actually see you, and it's a lot of love out there for you, Plank. But hey,
means a lot.
Hey, man, you mean a lot to us, man. So hey, appreciate everything. Listen, our next guest is a guy we just made acquaintances with recently, man. I do love his work. I like people that make, short form content for people, those little videos, those hype videos. I love that kind of stuff. And some people out here who do it and do it well, man. This guy that I'm about to bring on the screen is pretty damn good at it, man. I do like his work, and I really do look forward to doing some stuff with him in the very near future. I'm gonna offer some music to what he does, but my guy Bearski Film, let's roll him out, Nick.
What matters most is our opinion. We appreciate all of our subscribers. We appreciate every view we get. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna speak our minds, whether it's popular or not.
The contradictory thing is that now we have Keenan Allen, you have DJ Moore, you're going to add more pieces, but Caleb Williams is supposed to throw for 4,000 yards also, yet if he doesn't, he's a failure. So rather than giving him excuses as a rookie, we're going to be lambasting him or crucifying a rookie 23-year-old, 22-year-old for not having an outstanding performance as a rookie quarterback.
Is it the best plan? Probably not. But in the press conference after the game, Getsy stated that was the plan. To sit there and fumble it and let the other team go and score a touchdown? That can't be the result of that either.
You're thinking Caleb Williams throwing it down out of bounds. Eyes to your point down the field.
And without further ado, there's my guy Paul from said Bearski Films, man. Thank you for coming on to the show, man. Loving your stuff, man. That was a nice little video. I liked it. And I look forward to doing some of that stuff with you. Hopefully we can get together and do some stuff in conjunction and make some stuff happen. But I digress. We could talk about that later, man. But welcome to the show. Paul,
Yeah.
how are you doing?
Good, man. Good. I hope all you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for that really nice introduction. And like I said, I'm really happy to be here and really appreciative of the invite too. And like you said, the season's right around the corner. Man, I'm getting that itch. I know you guys are all getting that itch too. So yeah, can't wait to sit here and talk some football with you guys tonight. Thank you so much.
Man, hey, it's our pleasure to have you on, man. It's gonna be a good show, man, because what we do around here, especially on Nomad at Night, man, we really do. We're here to talk about some football, but more importantly, we do Nomad Live every week, and there's going to be more of those shows coming up and more Nomad at Night because the season is coming. So it won't be 2 shows a week all the time now. You know what I mean? We have to take a little bit of break and get some production going on. And so you guys get ready for more content. We'll be doing more. But on Nomad at Night, man, this show is definitely my favorite show and probably most guys' favorite show. it's because we get to come on here and have fun and just talk shit for the most part. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So what we do, come on here and talk shit. And on tonight's show, we're going to talk about what's on the thumbnail. And what's on the thumbnail is, who do you think is going to be the Bears training camp MVPs, both offensively and defensively? I got a list of guys, and I just want to see, and I, just for the sake of argument, when I list these guys, when the time comes, it's just people who I see could possibly be that offensive MVP and the defensive MVP. But there's too many names to count, because it could be some surprise people, some UDFAs, some, just anybody could come in this camp. This camp is going to be effing exciting. I'm just going to tell y'all that right now. The mixture of veterans, rookies, second and third year guys that we have on this roster, guys that are looking to, maintain a roster spot with hungry rookies behind them. UDFAs are right behind them. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, this camp has the ingredients to be so fucking exciting. I don't even know how to contain myself right now, because the storylines are so many. I get to thinking about Jamari Chroma. I get to thinking about Dominique Robinson, that spot. You know what I mean? Guys like that slot corner spot with Reddy Stewart. Can he beat out Josh Blackwell and Greg Stroman? There's so many storylines to talk about here. And then we get to the conversation about who can emerge as the MVP of the camp. Do me a favor, everybody in the chat and all you guys on the panel, do me a favor. Omit Caleb Williams in the conversation. It's going to make it more interesting. We know he can come out and be the camp offensive MVP, but it's more interesting to talk about some of these other guys. Could it be DJ? Could it be Romo Dunze? Could it be Keenan Allen? It could be DeAndre Swift. We just don't know. It could be Cole Kmet. We just don't know what's going to happen in this camp. It's going to be some really fun dynamics and some strange ones to talk about from time to time here. And also, while we're talking about that, there's a conversation J2K and I have been having for a day or two about this Tevin Jenkins contract. And he's heard a thing or two, as have we all, but that conversation is ready to be had too. So let's start there, kids. Matter of fact, let me pass it to J2K, because he's heard the latest rumors and, little talk about what's going on with Tevin Jenkins and his contract. You want to start that off?
Yeah, sure. So just what I've heard is that Tevin came out. He did say that his representation went out to the Bears, said they'd like an extension. Since then, there was a small rumor. I wasn't able to verify it or not, but that the Bears are interested in extending Jenkins. There's just nothing on the table yet. My assumption is that we're going to get into the season. We're going to see how healthy he is, and then there might be or should be an offer put on the table.
All right, let's pass it back to Kez, and then we'll go clockwise and skip J2K after Kez and go straight to Plank.
Sounds legit to me, right? Obviously, they want to get something done now. They want to get something done early. I don't think Ryan Poles is of the same mind, because I wouldn't be. I would actually want the kid to play the season out and see how he does, and then determine what kind of contract he's worth. I think Tevin Jenkins' potential is Pro Bowl potential. He just hasn't been on the field long enough to prove any of that. If he's on the field long enough to prove it, I think he will prove it, and he'll get that contract. That's where I'm at with it. Plank, what do you think?
Well, if he signs it now, maybe it's cheaper now. I don't know. But then again, once somebody signs a contract, I myself prefer him to wait. I want to see the heart, and we all want to see the longevity, right? We all want to see a healthy season. Look, I'm the first one to say when Tev is on the O-line, it's a totally different attitude, the whole entire O-line. Tev brings the dog to that O-line. He really does. But, he's got to stay healthy. I'd prefer him to wait.
Before we get to you, Bearsky, I appreciate that Plank. That was a good observation. Jason with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Jason. When was the last time we as Bears fans have been this excited for training camp, let alone the season? Once we have a damn team and a chance. I'll let you respond to that, Bearski, but you don't even have to answer that Tevin Jenkins question. How do you feel about what Jason, my man Jason, just said? Thank you, Jason.
Oh man, yeah, it's definitely one of the most exciting seasons in a long time. Listen, last off season was pretty exciting as well, just because we traded the number 1 overall pick away and we were able to get DJ Moore and everything like that. But to come back this year and have another number 1 overall pick, I mean, what Carolina did for us is they set us up so well. And yeah, this may be the one, guys. This may be the time when the tides finally turn. I know we've all been waiting for it. We've all been waiting for that moment, for that shift to happen, for the Bears to be good again. And I'm looking at it right now and kind of just savoring the moment, because this could be it right now. So,
man, you know what, Bearski? That excitement is like kinetic right now, and it's contagious. It really is, man. It's just like I can feel, if I've got this much anxiety and anticipation sitting in me, and I'm a pretty cool dude, I can imagine what some of the rest of the fan base is thinking right now. So, Jason, dude, that is on the money, man. It's a lot of excitement going on right now. And the closer we get to players coming in Alice Hall and the camera start rolling and guys starting to hit the field, man, that stuff is it's gonna be these podcasts. All of these podcasts are gonna be electric. I'm telling you right now, this is a lot of good times we got moving forward, man. But how do you feel about that before we go? How do you feel about the Tevin Jenkins situation?
Well, it's interesting because health here is truly the one thing that we're all looking at and scratching our heads on when it comes to Tevin Jenkins. It's not the play. Like you said, when he's out there, he is damn good. Guys, one of my top videos on my channel has been a Tevin Jenkins Mauler video. And I'll tell you what, it is hard to put together a highlight video on an offensive lineman. That man made it so easy and fun for me. I love watching him push people out of bounds. I love the motor, the nonstop. It just comes down to the health, right? So now from a business standpoint, from a financial standpoint, you're looking at it like, if you do sign him right now, you're signing him based off knowing that he has prior health concerns, right? And so you might get a discount right now. And if you do let him play out the year and say he does stay healthy for the year, that may not be the norm, though. He may just stay healthy for a year. Then you might wind up having to overpay to keep him, or you might risk having him go somewhere else in free agency and have somebody else pay him. So I think if the Bears want him here long term, I think kind of getting something done sooner than later would probably be smarter from the business point of view. But man, I love me some Tevin Jenkins either way. So I hope we see that guy play like he's been playing for sure.
My take on it is largely what every one of you guys have said, the things that I agree with. Every one of you guys. I mean, Plank's talking about the demeanor he brings to the offensive line, and he's emphasizing that. There's no question about that whatsoever. There's 100% a tone that he brings to that offensive line. Here's what I would take note to, guys, if I were you. I think it was telling that Tevin's introduction to Caleb, he was the guy that they introduced, that offensive line representative that Caleb was introduced to first. So when that dinner came around, during the scouting combine, that was the dude that they decided they wanted Caleb to meet. And so what does that say to me indirectly? That says to me that these guys have this guy in their long-term plans, and they wanted Caleb to get acquainted with him. I also believe that because he and talking about Tevin and Justin had such a good tight relationship, I think Poles wanted to make sure that this changeover to a different quarterback was not going to send the wrong message to the locker room, and I believe Tevin has a big a role to play in that locker room. I think he's going to. I think he did emerge as a leader last year, but I think his leadership is going to be magnified now that he's kind of like, and I'm not going to say like the veteran in the room. He's one of them, and he's got the longest tenure now. Am I correct?
Well,
in the offensive line room. So he's going to be a leader in there. So that thing right there, I think, was important. Here's the next part of it. I think Ryan Poles has got to be thinking, and Paul is right. He said that, you take a risk by jumping on that contract too early. I think you take a risk by not doing it too. Why? Is because, per example, Jaylon Johnson, I think he could have got Jaylon Johnson at least probably $3 to $5 million cheaper had he got him in the preseason and got him to that deal before he went out and had a spectacular season. I think that could have happened, but if you're Ryan Poles sitting in the office looking over these things, mulling over what to do right now, I think you have that as an example. I think you have the Jaylon Johnson situation as an example of, what, if we do see Tevin Jenkins in our future and we want to commit to him, even though he's had injury problems, I think we need to commit or not and be okay with it. And so it wouldn't surprise me. Now, I would ask J2K the question of, did Tevin bring the contract, his people bring the contract discussion to the table, and was there a response when he did it?
From what I know, Tevin's agent went to the Bears and said, we'd like to work out a long-term contract. But at the time of that interview, there hadn't been a response yet. I saw somewhere that someone mentioned that the Bears reached back out, but I couldn't confirm it.
Okay. Because I think that's important. I think you, and anybody that wants to respond to this can, but I think there's if it's me, I want to get an offer on the table. That's what I want to do. I want to get an offer on the table, just something tangible to say, Tevin, we are looking to keep you here for a while, and this is what we think of it. And see, I think the problem with that is if you give him a preseason offer, what does that offer look like? Does he feel like he's getting punked around contractually? Does he feel like he's getting what he's worth? All that stuff is going to that's worth the conversation between agents, Tevin, Ryan Poles, and the front office. Those kind of conversations get personal at times. You know what I mean? And we know that from Roquan. And so I think it's worth it if I'm Ryan Poles to put something on the table and don't try to punk him, with it. Be generous to an extent. I mean, this is a qualifying offer. Go ahead, kids. I see your face.
Yeah, because you're a player guy, and you know what I mean. You're kind of saying the player side of the. You know what I mean. You're giving the player angle. If it's me, I would go by the rule of good problem to have. My bad. I'd rather have a good problem, and a good problem is Tevin Jenkins playing through an entire season and getting a bigger contract, earning a bigger contract, than me trying to play him now. Because no matter, and this is why this conversation is a little bit weird, no matter how you slice it, his contract right now, if they did a deal right now, it pales in comparison to what it would be at the end of this season. Okay. He's just looking for stability right now, and I get it. They're going to come to the table with something they have no reason other than to come to the table with something relatively low ball.
You can't ignore Naj's $5 super chat. What is
Naj? Drink up, bear down, y'all.
What's the Nomad Night all about?
I was in a moment, Naj.
Naj, right on time, my boy.
Can I add to that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure.
Another part of it is like what can the Bears afford moving forward? Guys, these linemen are out there getting paid. I mean, Mike McGlinchey got paid. Some of these guys that are not these great offensive linemen are out there getting good contracts. And, you spend too much money on him. I mean, these dominoes do fall in the future. Who do you pass up in the future if you sign him now? And I think that's something to consider and think about too.
Yeah, I think it's a tough spot, man. I don't think a guard a decent guard is hard to come by. But when you have a good one that brings a tone and a tenor to a team that, we're going to talk about this a lot this year. And we're talking about Chicago style football. What is Chicago style football? Setting tones up front, offensive and defensive, the trenches. We set tones. The really good teams that we've had set a freaking tone up front. And you have a tone setter sitting in your locker room now on your team that can do just that. Even though he's not the center, right now he's our Olin Kreutz. He's our Olin Kreutz right now. He's the guy that brings the mustard, the ketchup, and the hot sauce, to that offensive line. He's the condiments. You know what I mean? When you want to set a tone and have a personality up front, and you want to mean something when it wanted to mean something when people think about playing the Bears and what that game's gonna be like. You need a nasty mother something, don't you? You gotta have a guy like that, and that's what he represents. And how Ryan Poles plays this is anybody's guess. But I'm gonna open it up one more time. I do believe that putting a offer on the table of some kind is worth doing. It may not be the best offer in the world for Tevin Jenkins, but I think
that's what I'm saying, right? That's my comment to it. Is like, if they went forward and put an offer in front of Tevin Jenkins right now, it would be based on his performance. And let's be real, he's performed amazing when he was on the field, right?
Yes.
So you're now going to have to discount all of that potential injury and weigh that into a contract today. That being the case, like, what I would be putting across the table wouldn't really be what Tevin Jenkins would want to sign right now. Like, I don't even know what else to say. If I was Tevin Jenkins, I would look at the contract and probably be.
So you didn't say a number. Number one, number two. What's fair when someone hasn't been on the field as much as he could be? So what you didn't say a number. Number one, but what's fair, right?
Yeah, because
it's going to be insulting. It is. It is. It's just going to be a little insulting.
Wait a minute, Paul. You're a numbers guy, man. So
like, team friendly. I think you are looking to under 10 million a year in only a couple of years, and that doesn't feel good giving it to him right now. But sure, you want an offer out there. I mean, that from a management point of view, yeah, it'd have to come on the cheap.
So Paul, how would you feel if there was a balloon clause in it that gave him a stipend if he performed and stayed healthy? I think when you give him a contract like what you're saying, Paul, I think that's not out of the realm of being reasonable. But I think if you balloon it and put some stipends in it that makes it more attractive to his performance and being available, I think that's the way to go. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I need the guaranteed money to be low then.
Like now it's getting, but really, bro, now we're getting into nitty gritty, and this contract starts to get ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like 10 million is like, honestly, the perfect amount of money. Dollars and cents. I still would have that same $10 million slotted for Tevin Jenkins next season, because there's another piece to this puzzle, and that's the other guy on the other side might shit the bed. And if he shits the bed, then odds are I'm definitely signing the young kid and putting that cap into him. But right now I don't know if he's going to play good. I don't know if you're going to make it onto the field all season. Too many questions to answer this contract dispute right now for me. I wouldn't do it.
Hold on.
And just to put it in perspective, you guys, I mean, do we consider Jenkins to be a top 5 offensive guard in the NFL?
You say
top 5, right around there. So the top 4 people for offensive guards.
Offensive guard?
Yeah. 14 million to 16.5.
Yeah, and I mean, when he's on the field, right? When he's on the field. I'm not questioning his play.
Sure.
I'm questioning the availability. But just to put it in perspective, if you're going 10 or below, that would be an insult to his play, right? But that's what I mean. You're only so comfortable making a certain offer right now, and that's where That's why it's too early. I think you almost have to write it out.
Mhm.
I think we're being you got to be a homer to say that Tevin Jenkins is a top 5 guard in the league right now.
Agreed.
He hasn't proved that. What say you, Plank?
I kind of agree with that. Yeah, if you're a homer, but yeah, the thing with Tev, yeah, I'm still at the opinion of wait until the end of the year. I want to see him healthy. You don't know. You've got, a plethora of draft picks this coming year. So I'm still of the opinion of holding out or waiting, not holding out. And here's another thing, right? Like it's been talked about, if it does come to button heads, hey, it's too low, then now what do you do going into this season? Now you're kind of in a spot.
And to put this back into perspective, Tevin Jenkins has an 80.7 PFF grade, which ranks him 3rd at the position.
That's not bad. That's not bad. And that he can lean on that as far as leverage goes. You know what I mean? He could going into a contract negotiation, guaranteed there's going to be some back and forth in those conversations when they have them. If they aren't having them right now, it's going to be some back and forth. But Tevin would have a much greater, stronger leg to stand on had he played more games. I'm not going to act like, okay, he missed like 25, 35 games. He missed some games, but not that many. You know what I mean? But consistency is what I think is the big word you circle, right? Consistency. I think that's what Poles is going to be looking for. I think that's what the team and the organization is looking for. I have no doubts in my mind that they want to offer him something, something really fair. But to the upfront money, I'm like kind of bear ski. You gotta kind of not do that right away. I think just because of the inconsistency,
And like I'm saying, it doesn't all. This contract situation doesn't all fall on Tevin right now, and I have to look at that left guard position and go, there's $12 million potentially right there, right? That contract ends at the end of this season. That money's available for Tevin next season for sure, and then some, depending on the play of these two guys. So, it might even be this is what I'm saying. It might even be bigger numbers if Tevin Jenkins plays a full season and shows out. The showing out part is the part I'm not really that worried about because he can't. He definitely has it in him. So, if he does, and unfortunately the other guy may not, he might eat off of the other guy's plate.
You guys, you know what, man? I think this Tevin Jenkins conversation is going to come up at least once a week until something is on the table and something solid. You know what I mean? Something solid, like thick oatmeal solid on your stomach. We don't have it yet, and it's going to lead to a whole lot more conversation when it comes to Tevin Jenkins. But here's one other topic that I think people are curious about going into camp outside of the thumbnail. We're going to get to that. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. But before we do that, let's talk about the center spot, because you go look at ESPN's depth chart and you will see that Connor, what is his name?
Coleman Shelton.
Coleman Shelton. I said Connor. Coleman Shelton. Coleman Shelton is a starter on ESPN's projected chart. Go look at our lads, who tends to be more accurate, this time of year when it goes into walking into camp. They seem to be, if you went right now and went to our lads, you'll see that Ryan Bates is our starting center and Coleman Shelton is his backup. It's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out here, Paul and Plank, that are talking about Connor Williams. He's coming off an ACL injury. I do understand this, that Connor Williams is a dog. He's an absolute dog when he's all the way 100% healthy. He's a difference maker up front. What I said about Ryan Bates, I will stand on, and I will put my name on this. Ryan Bates is a steal. There is a reason why Ryan Poles went after this guy twice. Why would a general manager go after a guy after swinging and missing on him once, see that opportunity again, and do all he could to get this guy. It's because he sees something in him. And all you have to do is look at a little bit of film. And so what I would tell the people that want Connor Williams, I get it. I definitely get it. But I want to tell you guys, unless you watch in depth some Ryan Bates film, you don't know what we have already. And that's not a put down. I'm just challenging you guys to go and watch the film as much as you can. Watch full Buffalo games that he's playing center, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. This guy is going to be probably outside of Kevin Byard and I guess Keenan Allen, probably the best move that Ryan Poles made in the offseason. I'm telling you, Ryan Bates is a steal. I just want to put this conversation up for you guys. We can have this one more time before camp starts. I think Ryan Bates is our starting center. What say you, Kid?
I think he is too. I'm going to posit something a little bit different on your take. So Ryan Poles made an offer for Ryan Bates 2 years ago, right? That offer sheet was matched and signed by Bates and the Buffalo Bills. So something to note is that Ryan Poles got Ryan Bates on the exact same deal that he always wanted to get him at, which is crazy. It just cost him a draft pick. So here we have the guy that he had his eye on the whole time. I think he's got a special place in the heart of Ryan Poles, and I'm going to have to lean towards where Nomad is. I think he starts as the center, and I think it's his job to lose. J2K, what do you think?
I hope it's Bates. Bates is a little more of a well-rounded offensive lineman. He's got less experience at center than Coleman Shelton, but he doesn't get pushed around as much as Shelton does in the pass blocking game. Shelton is fantastic in the zone run game. You know, I give that guy full credit, but he's kind of lopsided because he's horrible in pass protection. And it's going to remind you of the Mustafa days of a guy just getting pushed right back in the quarterback's lap. Having said that, I wouldn't mind if Coleman Shelton does win the starting job. That just means that his experience and is giving the coaches confidence to start him over Bates. And Bates can still end up, probably taking Nate Davis's job if Davis keeps going on this kind of downward career trajectory chart. So it's nice to have both players. I do hope it's Bates. Plank, what do you think about the center position?
I'm kind of right there with you, J2K. I think it's, having Shelton, you move him, if Davis isn't there or Tevin doesn't pick up or whatever. It's nice having two experienced centers. I know Shelton, he's got very good stats, like hardly any sacks, right? Allowed hardly any sacks. And he's, been in the league for a while. I mean, how do you, it's hard. It's good to have the dilemma, I guess,
What say you, Paul? What do you think about that?
Ryan Poles, I think he's such a good GM in my opinion. And one of the things he constantly preaches is value, right? I think part of the value you get with Coleman Shelton is he does come from the same offensive tree. He played for the Rams under McVay. Shane Waldron runs a style of that system. So you get a guy that maybe is easier to just plug and play. And, the center position is so important, right? So they got him on a cheap deal, too. And I remember during the offseason when we did a little video about, possible free agent signings, and we got to the centers and we went over the centers. The thing about Connor Williams to me was expensive. I think he was one of the more expensive centers out there. And if you are a guy that preaches value, you're going to have, not too many holes, and I think there's a lot of holes you could poke at Connor Williams' game too. So I don't know if he's the right guy. I think Coleman Shelton moving forward is the way to go. And you best believe that I did put together some film on Bates, and the few opportunities he got for the Bills to start, even the one game where he did play center, I mean, that kid's performed too. So even though he's been in a backup role, like you said, they've kept their eye on him. And then let's not forget too, I mean, moving forward, you have 10 draft picks. You'll be able to draft other linemen too and stuff. So I don't think you have to necessarily rush this year to try and get yourself into, anything long term. It's just, I think they kind of might stick it out with what they have.
I would love to get a piece of that. That I don't know what you got as far as Ryan Bates goes, but I've been watching a lot of film on that guy lately, and I'm telling you, I just think I just know, like you said, the opportunities, he didn't waste any of them. Every single opportunity given to Ryan Bates, whether they put him in at, I've seen him all the way over at left tackle to right tackle. I'm talking about along the Buffalo Bills offensive line. There's no question of his value. How many positions can he play? Every single one of them. That's how many. That's there. The question everybody wants to know is how good of a center can he be? And it goes back to what Paul just said. He didn't waste any opportunities. When he got the job at center and somebody went down, it was no let off. Zero. And so, I mean, I just think we got a stud, and Ryan Poles knows what he's doing. That's all I'm going to say about that before I talk about King Booker Worlds. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, and just to add to it, one of the games because when I go through and pull tape, it's just whatever's out there, whatever's available. One of them was a playoff game against the Dolphins where he manhandled Christian Wilkins.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was a good performance by him, especially from a backup lineman.
He did a number on Billings too. I'm just gonna say he put a number on Big Billings, man. In the man, listen, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, when we come back to this Ryan Bates conversation sometime during the season, you guys are it's gonna be a different tone being, it's gonna be a different song being sang, right? I'll just tell you that right now. But King Booker World with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my king. Two guys that can snap the ball is already a damn win. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Man, go ahead, kids. I can't even hear you.
I was just saying, no questions there, King Booker World, man. You hit the nail on the head. Had a whole lot of snapping issues last season, and something. I really hope Matt Eberflus is paying attention to them snaps this time around. That's something I want him to have an eagle eye on. That's my biggest Matt Eberflus pet peeve. We'll leave that alone.
All right. let's go here, man, because we start talking about, and the only training camp that I ever saw was over there in Bourbonnais, right? And that was the fans just were able to walk up and enjoy training camp, and it was, I'm telling you, man, after talking to Greg Gabriel about it, man, that camp was special. And there's a reason why it was special. The youth out there, the energy out there, the new draft picks, Devin Hester. This is that year. I was out there watching that camp when we got Devin Hester. And listen, let me tell you something. It was special. And I'm getting the same kind of vibe this year. I'm getting the same kind of vibe. The excitement that just came in, it's about to come into this building on Tuesday. It's going to bring that kind of thing. And so let's talk about this offense and who can emerge as MVP. And guys, remember, we're going to try to take Caleb Williams out of the conversation. Obviously, he's going to probably emerge as everybody's favorite to be MVP. But we got to make it interesting and talk about some other guys. And so, kids, out of the list of guys, how about this? I'll start it off like this. We'll go with the name. Let's start with DJ Moore. What are the chances that DJ Moore with this new quarterback is going to emerge as the MVP, the offensive king in this training camp? What are the chances?
Very high. Very high, yes.
That's all you got on that?
No, I'm not going to kill the DJ Moore situation. I'm ready to talk about another guy that nobody seems to want to talk about. Nobody
ahead.
wants to talk about DeAndre Swift, man. Nobody wants to talk about DeAndre Swift. So I'm here to talk about it. I think DeAndre Swift has everything we need in a back. He can block, he can rush, he can run straight north and south. He can jump cut.
Okay, remember we got to do shorts. That's why I started off with the name DJ Moore. If you ain't got no more than that, we can move.
Let's move.
All right, J2K. What say you about DJ Moore?
Well, I have to back up a little bit just because I know you started the show off saying that Caleb Williams, could easily be the shoe-in to be the MVP of camp. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that, he's a rookie. He's learning. He's going to struggle. And as a byproduct of that, I think that DJ Moore is not going to get as many targets, clean balls. He's not going to get, the read from Caleb. Caleb's going to be learning. So as much as I would definitely say that DJ Moore could be the MVP of the season, right? I just think it's a little too early to start crowning kind of any of these offensive players. Now, out of all the offensive players, I would say DJ Moore is kind of at the top of the list. I just still see a growth, not a struggle, but a growth process for this offense in training camp. And remember how good our defense is.
All right, so let's stick with DJ Moore. Plank, what do you think your chances are he comes out of here with the offensive MVP in training camp?
Well, pretty high. I mean, I would say that, I don't know, him and Allen go at it there. I mean, they're both right at the top of their game, really. And I mean, part of being MVP or whatever is also the time that you're going to put into Rome, in my opinion. So it's not just about play so much as being a mentor to me. It's more than just play. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a leader. He's definitely on top of his game.
What say you, Paulie?
Well, I remember the year before we got DJ Moore, when we had Darnell Mooney, that offseason, it was just, there was a lot of hype. It's like, oh, look at this, him and Justin, they're getting chemistry and this and that. And then the next offseason, the second we got DJ Moore, it was like, oh, that's a number one wide receiver. Clear cut. No questions asked here. Okay. No talk about chemistry. No, it's just like, no, that's the guy right there. And he came out and showed it all year, just like he has his whole career with different quarterbacks and everything. And he's one of those guys that shows up during practice too. Not everybody does. I remember they said Jamar Chase couldn't catch they were worried Jamar Chase couldn't catch a football during the Bengals practice after they drafted him, right? And look at what that guy did. So some guys show up for the games, some guys show up for practice. DJ Moore seems to be just one of those all-around guys that shows up, man. So yeah, I mean, easily could happen.
So here's my thoughts about DJ Moore coming out of that. I just think about, what the defense might do. And here's how I make the case for DJ Moore. I don't think it's a very strong case. Why? Because I think the defense I think Matt Eberflus and Eric Washington have a plan to really come out in this camp and give Caleb Williams kind of looks that take away the obvious, right? And so everybody and their mother is going to know he's going to be looking for DJ Moore early and often, right? And so what do? You give him a look that kind of takes away DJ, because that's what he's going to get in the game. So you have to simulate as best you can in practice the kind of looks you think he might see in the game. So you don't want to give him Mickey Mouse stuff out there and have DJ Moore running all over the damn place. That's not going to happen. They're going to probably roll coverages at DJ and make him beat him with other guys. DJ's a deep threat. And he's also a short yardage monster, a yak monster. And so in practices, I think it would be incumbent upon Eberflus to do things to take away DJ Moore and force him to look at other options like Rome, like Keenan and these other guys, Cole, all those guys. So, I would say in practice and in camp, I would say he's got a chance, but I wouldn't say if they do what I think Eberflus is going to do and take DJ away and have him get used to situations where they roll coverages at him, I think that's the best way to go if I'm Matt Eberflus. I want him to get used to that because I think he's going to see that more than likely in a game. Would you guys agree with that? Anybody?
Yeah, I do. I'm just thinking about it big picture right now because that kind of wow, that really leaves Roma Dunze as a mismatch, man. And I'm saying that because the kid is 6'3", 215. He's kind of a mismatch for a number one cornerback, right? I don't know about a number 3 cornerback. It might be a little bit of an overmatch. Yeah, things will get interesting, man. You know, I have to slide it over to the Rome situation, but personally, I've seen DJ beat just about every coverage that's thrown at him. If Caleb can get the ball to him, we'll see how that works out too.
If anybody wants to touch that and talk about this conversation, but really quick, let me get on Jason with his super chat. Jason with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you again, Jason. You generous man. You. Keenan will be good to go. Would be the go-to. I meant. In practice, I think they'll take Keenan away. I gotta disagree with that, man, because he's going to be playing the slot, Jason, and that's the only reason I'm going to disagree with that. Is because they've got him set to play a whole lot of slot role. That's what Keenan is more effective when he plays in the slots and has a lot more field to operate in. And you know, knowing that, I know for a fact they can't really double him unless you use a linebacker to help. Can't really double him unless you use a linebacker or a safety to help him. You're not gonna take Keenan away from the game unless you put him out on the boundary where he can be double teamed and you can roll coverage, roll a safety from one side to the next. And so I have to disagree with that one, man. You're not far off, but I think that part, I think we got to keep in mind he's going to be playing a lot more slot than anything else.
You know what my overall feeling on this is? It's great. We have more than one weapon, finally, right? Like we're going from playing checkers to finally starting to play chess. Yeah, they're gonna double team DJ, and if Caleb's smart enough to sit there and utilize other guys, they're gonna have to shift back over to those other guys, and then they're gonna have to start trying to figure out when he's gonna try and utilize this and this and that. And that's when you start getting into quarterback tendencies. What do you tend to do on third downs? What do you tend to do in this situation? This and that, and that's all stuff that's so refreshing to finally have here during the offseason for Bears fans, man, because it feels like we've just had nothing but one simple plan for quite some time, and finally we just have some pieces on this offense. It's great.
Hey Paul, let me ask you, and I'm gonna ask Jason this personally. So all you got to do to understand what I'm getting at is imagine who's gonna be that motion guy in this offense. Who's gonna be that move guy when they pull a receiver and have him motion from side to side and kind of trick the defense. Who's that guy going to be? Is it going to be DJ? Is it going to be Rome? Or is it going to be Keenan? I think that's an easy way to answer what Jason was just saying.
I think it's between Rome and Komet.
No.
I mean, you could have.
I 100% believe it's going to be Keenan. Keenan's going to be that guy because they're going to move him around. He's a short yardage guy, and he can really make havoc.
You may be right. Yeah, I could see it too. I mean, but that's the thing is there's so many different ways this could go because, like, you know, Rome could elevate to a receiver 2, and Keenan could be receiver 3 as well. I mean, that is a possibility. So I don't know. It's nice to finally have competition at that position though as well.
Yeah, and somebody just said it. You know, all three. I think Joseph Belinsky. Yeah, all three of them will do it from time to time. But I think the main guy, because Keenan is going to be playing a lot of slot and he does his best work in the interior of teams' defenses. I think that he's more of a weapon there to me. I think you can get work out of DJ. I think you can get work out of Rome, but I think the best work is going to come if you use Keenan in motion. That's just my opinion on that. We'll see. But yeah, man, that's how I think this is going to play out. If I'm Ryan, if I'm Matt Eberflus, I'm making sure that I'm doing everything I can to take away DJ Moore and making him work on these other guys. And, in his mind, have it in his mind that you have to be mentally prepared that teams are going to take away DJ Moore and not let DJ Moore run all over the field. And so I think that's what you have to have in mind. So I think next to some other guys, I think he may have a little bit less of a chance to make the training camp MVP. So let's talk about the next guy, Rome Odunze. Chances to make the training camp MVP, kids.
Given what you just sort of laid out, potentially higher, right? If training camp is what you just described, and that is Flus's defense is rolling coverages over to manage wide receiver 1, you're likely going to wind up with wide receiver 3 and a mismatch, even against the Bears secondary, right? And that might lead to just that connection between Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams getting that much more potent. So there's a high potential for him to really shine during this training camp. And I hope that he does, because again, if that connection is a thing, holy smokes, be careful, CB3. I wouldn't want to be you, yo. That's what I'm saying. J2K, what do you think?
Well, I think what's going to be true in the season is going to also be true in camp. So we got to step back and look at what type of offense are we running. And we're running Waldron's zone scheme, West Coast style offense, where he leans heavy on the run game, heavy on the tight ends. So we're talking about the third wide receiver. How many snaps is he actually going to get compared to Keenan Allen and DJ Moore? I don't see, I love the optimism and the hype surrounding Rome right now. I would temper that, not because of his ability, but because of the frequency he'll be actually on the field in that third wide receiver position.
Question.
Yes.
Can I ask you something? You know, with those two guys being the future of what the Bears offense is going to look like, talking about Caleb and Rome, do you think that the offensive coordinator has to be very intentional about building that connection right away while you're answering that question?
No, I don't think you do that in because that's favoritism, right? And the other players will see that and be like, so what? He's a draft pick. I mean, once you're drafted, you come into the building, all things are equal, right? And it's going to be up to Rome on how quickly he learns the position. Remember, he's learning all three positions. So there's a lot of growth that needs to happen, a lot of learning that needs to happen. And DJ and Keenan, they're so schooled in the art of being a wide receiver that, this is going to be easy for them to transition into Waldron's offense. Incredibly easy. Rome is going to be the one who is going to take time, and he's also the first wide receiver off the field when they go to a 2 wide receiver set. So it's just a numbers game. It's nothing against Rome and his ability. It's just a numbers game. In my opinion, I would avoid drafting him in fantasy football because I don't see the hype matching up with the numbers.
Well, you're going to get some challenges there, buddy boy. Well, we'll see about that. But Plank, what say you about Rome Odunze's opportunities to be training camp MVP?
Well, if Rome's proved anything, he's a competitor. He's a dog. He's a learner. And he's got 2 great teachers. I think he could be competition for it. I don't think it's his mindset. I don't think it's any of their mindsets. I think their mindsets are it's a race to 1,000. But Rome, hey, I'm not going to count him out. Rome is a fierce competitor. Rome eats, sleeps, and drinks football. You've got neighbors out there making it rain in clubs, and you've got Rome Odunze in the books, on the field, learning, sweating. That's what Rome is. So, yeah, I'm not going to count him out.
I hear that. What say you, Paulie?
Nomad, it's interesting because DJ and Allen, I mean, they're both such professional wide receivers, right? Keenan Allen's one of the best route runners in the league and has been for quite some time. And so those guys are going to show up. So if Rome's got a shot, it's got to be due to his, youth and athleticism shining over those guys, right? Because those guys practice well too. And then, I personally, I really think Cole Kmet has a huge opportunity. And then I know Keds mentioned DeAndre Swift, but then I find myself the further and further we go down this list, I can't keep omitting Caleb Williams because for these guys to wind up, he's going to have to be making some plays. And I know you said omit him, and initially when you asked this question, I looked at it in two ways, like what's most likely and what's most important. Most likely to me came up with DJ Moore. Most important, well, obviously Caleb Williams, but then the other guy I had on my list was Ryan Bates. So, but man, it's funny. I think the further and further we go down the list, I think the more you have to then just start looking back at the quarterback, man.
You're right, man. It's
No question.
It's the truth, but that's the easy one, man. But the next guy is Keenan Allen and what he can bring to the table. It's a lot of people that think Keenan Allen's put up consistent 1,000-yard seasons his whole career. You know what I mean? And he's as consistent as you would want an NFL professional. This guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Is what he is. This is what's going on, man. He's got Hall of Fame numbers. I mean, anybody that wants to doubt that can and argue about that. That guy's got Hall of Fame numbers. And until Keenan Allen doesn't put up a 1,000-yard season, then you get me listening. But we're talking in terms of training camp, kids. What do you think his chances are? Because he was brought here as a security blanket for a rookie quarterback. Make no mistake about that. That was the intention. We need a security blanket for a rookie quarterback, a guy that's good in a short area. That's why Keenan Allen was brought here. So what do you think his chances are come training camp?
I think the chances are high right there as well. And reason for that has a lot to do with the success of Justin Herbert. And Caleb Williams has been insulated with Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett. Say that 3 times fast. Anyway, both of those two guys were right beside him when Justin Herbert was a rookie and performed as well as he did. Ryan Poles has done a brilliant thing in bringing those two guys, basically his 2 safety blankets, over to Chicago to make sure that Caleb Williams has a really soft landing. And going back to Paul, hey man, you're right. It all comes right back to the quarterback, but those 2 safety blankets, and then you layer on a guy like Cole Kmet, who we haven't talked about just yet. Man, I think the potential for Keenan Allen to put up crazy numbers is there, but I think the potential for Caleb Williams to put up crazy numbers with a nice little soft center of the field situation with those three guys, I think it works out very nicely.
What say you, JTK?
Yeah, so I really like Keenan Allen's opportunity to kind of stand out in camp. Like Heads is saying, I think like we're all saying that he really is a safety blanket, especially in the zone coverages. I think in training camp, a lot of it's actually going to be determined on, which side of the field is Keenan and DJ playing for that day, or how often they are on one side or the other, because Jaylon Johnson stays to his side of the field, right? And he's our lockdown corner. Now, Tyreek Stevenson, I think the world of this kid, the growth he had last year, how he finished was all fantastic. I anticipate another huge leap from him this season. But keep in mind, Jaylon Johnson is the better corner. So to me, it's going to be, who's getting Stevenson or who's getting that third outside cornerback, Terrell Smith. And whoever gets that matchup more often than not will have more successful plays.
Can I offer something, J2K, if you don't mind?
What's that?
I think Kyler Gordon is going to get the best work he's ever gotten in his career in this training camp against Keenan Allen. He's going to be guarding him more times than not. And,
Well,
Keenan,
in 3 wide receiver sets.
yeah.
But
I'm
if
just,
Waldron's not running a ton of 3 wide receiver sets, then
he runs
Keenan's going to be playing that
a lot
X
of
spot.
3. He runs a lot of 3. He runs quite a bit of 3, but he is heavy.
ASN didn't think so.
Well, I mean, I
He
think
came out in public and was like,
well,
Waldron doesn't like to pass the ball, I think was his exact quote.
what I was listening to Dave Wanstead, Coach Wanstead, I want to say, and whenever I hear him talk, I know that he's in communication because he's friends with Flus. He's friends with guys in that building, and he gets opportunities to go out there and take a peek at what they're doing. He won't say a whole lot because of that. And I watch him when he does his podcast on NBC Sports Chicago. And one thing that stuck out to me that I circled is that they came in with a mindset, and he said he thinks that eventually during this camp they're going to get more into the sets that Caleb is comfortable with. And so when I say that's going to offer a different layer to this conversation, because what is Caleb comfortable with? 3, 4, and 5 receiver sets. Eventually you have to. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people want to see Caleb under the center and us run the ball and him learning that kind of pro style quarterback. But if that's not working well and he's not functioning well under that kind of framework, then you start doing things that helps him get it moving along. And then you go back to some of that stuff. And so early in the training camp, when you start hearing reports that, I saw a lot of 3, 4, 5 receiver sets and Caleb was in a lot of shotgun, remember what I just told you, what Dave Wanstead said. That's probably the mindset.
What Wanstead is saying is something that a lot of people have talked about. They're going to bring over some air raid concepts early in the season just to transition Caleb, right? But I'm very confident that Gerald Everett and Swift were both signed because Waldron said, I need a receiving tight end, someone who's a little more of a receiver than Cole Kmet, and I need an upgrade at running back who's going to be a pretty good pass catcher as well. So what I think that signifies is that we're going to not only run a lot out of 2 tight end sets, but we're going to pass out of 2 tight end sets, like often. And that's the classic West Coast offense. Now, granted, you're going to have some air raid concepts early on. You might get 3 wide receiver sets and stuff, but which would you rather have? A brand new rookie as your third option, or a tight end who's been in the league for years, who knows this offense? He came from the Chargers, knows this offense already. So I think that early on, it may look like we're getting more wide receivers on the field, but the truth is that Waldron, he just hasn't shown to be a guy who runs a lot of 3 wide receiver sets.
Ron Winarski, is Nomad going to be live at regular season? Yes. We're going to do some live in-game broadcasts, man. If that's what you're asking, we're going to do some in-game broadcasts this year and see what that's like. We're going to do some of that. So yes, that's the plan, Ron. We're going to try to do some of that this year. We're going to do more content. But hey, so Plank, with that being said, the eventualities of having to get into concepts that Caleb, is more comfortable with is a real, it's a chance that we might have to get into that more early than not, because this is the quarterback we got, not the quarterback we wish we had. We made a mistake with the last quarterback we had, trying to turn him into something he wasn't early and not getting into sets that suited him. So I'm making the argument, and we were talking about Keenan Allen and his opportunities to be the MVP during this training camp. And, it comes down to how many wide receivers are we going to play with most of the time. I think we're going to see more on the field than we expect. And so what do you think Keenan Allen's his chance at being a training camp MVP?
He too. I mean, first off, though, Keenan, I'm obviously an NFC guy, but Keenan's one of those guys because of fantasy football. I mean, Keenan's numbers. Um, but I mean, he's talented. He's like DJ. He's going to be a mentor. He's going to be everything that what an MVP is, not just training camp, but all around. I'd like to see him stick around for at least 2 seasons, but I mean, I think his chances are right up there along with DJ's. I mean, if that's what we're talking about, and the MVP, I mean, he's right there with DJ, in my opinion.
I hear you. What say you, Paulie?
Yeah, like I said, any of these 3 wide receivers, man, they all have a pretty good chance to shine in camp for sure. Like I said, I think the most obvious one to me is DJ, just because he's such a pro. But I mean, Keenan Allen's right there too. Like you said, that guy's been doing it for so long. But yeah, and then like I said, the youth with Roma Dunze, man, he may just come in there motivated, way more motivated than these guys because he's finally in the NFL. So you never know. But I did want to comment something about what J2K said real quick, and I believe, at least from the things I've read, I know Shane Waldron was, I believe, the second most guy in 2 years, in 2022 and 2023, to run 13 personnel out of first down, which is 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. And so, yeah, I think he does like to utilize some of the wide receivers in certain situations. But I'm excited to see, because that's why there's so much trust and hope right now in Shane Waldron, because you got to be flexible, right? And a lot of these guys aren't. Some of these guys, like we just saw with Getsy, it's almost kind of like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what you guys need to do. This and that. And, I think the experience that Shane Waldron brings from already being an offensive coordinator in Seattle is only going to help him. And hopefully he's able to utilize these guys and put these guys in the right position. I think, Nomad, you hit on it, to whatever Caleb's comfortable with. Right, you have to grow this quarterback. I know everybody's so hyped because he's the first overall pick and he's generational and this and that and blah blah blah. But man, there's still got to be a growth process here, and you still got to do right by the kid, like play calling wise as well.
And just to clarify, 13 personnel is 3 tight ends.
What?
11 is 3
is
wide
it?
receivers. Yeah. So
Oh, my bad.
no, you're good. You proved my point.
Okay, yeah, no, okay. So then, yeah, okay.
So
Yeah,
I got to double check that. Like I said, it's been a while since I read that, but I'm pretty sure I read that at one point and just.
yeah, he has been a heavy 3 tight end, and a big part of that was the offensive line falling apart. So, look, he may see I've got a better offensive line. I don't need to go to 3 tight ends or 2 tight ends and a fullback. I may be able to go to more 12 personnel, but in general, he didn't run a lot of 11 personnel just in his tenure.
He was definitely, you saw a lot of that definitely out of pass pro issues, and making sure there was some buffering going on around the quarterback. And you need that. You need a guy that can think like that, someone that, if the protections are breaking down and guys aren't picking up blocks and you having holes and, you're creating highways for people to come attack your quarterback, you need to have a package that can really buffer your quarterback, give him a chance to read his progression and make his plays. And so, yeah, so I think that probably was born out of what exactly J2K said, having offensive line problems and then having to be creative about what to do about it. So that's a good play call is what that is to me. And that's probably him listening to his offensive line coach saying, hey, man, I know you're worried about this side over here and it's leaking and, these plays that aren't able to really manifest themselves because of the pass pro problems. And then what do we do to compensate for that? Be creative. And you saw a format and basically formation that you haven't seen before. And so that's what Shane Waldron has done in his past. Who knows what happens this time? But before we go any further, man, my guy Kids has something special that he has planned for you guys. And we're getting it there. We're really close to closing the deal on this and having you guys sign up, but we're not quite there yet. So we're going to give a little bit, another little quick preview on that, Kez. Go ahead, take it away.
Superflex Fantasy Football Show and League coming at you hot and heavy soon, folks. Keep your ears open and eyes open as well for more details. We'll be passing them right by you as soon as we can. Just figuring out the finer details. Scoring is up. We'll be going with pretty much PPR standard with a little bit of bonus structure as well. There will be a free league for all those who are afraid to put a couple of dollars where their mouth is, you know what I'm saying? And we'll also have a pay league for all those who really know what fantasy football is about. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be some fun. And, hey, can't wait to build that community and chop it up with you guys throughout the season. So that's where we're at. Superflex Fantasy Football. Get at me at Keds the Canuck on Twitter, and I can give you some details in person in the DMs if you'd like. J2K, on to you, my friend.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for Superflex Fantasy Football. I'm going to be doing the free league with all the Nomaniacs, whoever wants to jump in with me. It's going to be a great time. It's just, for me, it's just going to be fun just to have a team, chop it up with you guys, and, you know, see how everybody does. Watch Keds' show because he's going to help you out. Even if you are in your own league, you're doing your own thing with your friends somewhere else. That's totally cool. Check out Kez's show. He's going to give you all the insight to which players to draft and which players to sign through the season, matchups, all that good stuff. So looking forward to it, Keds. Can't wait. And in a very short amount of time, we will have sign-up details for all you guys. And yeah, let's go. Let's have fun this season, you guys.
So
Right on. King Book of World, we'll figure that out. What you can do initially is you can maybe send an email to at Nomad Live Pod, and we'll figure something out for you via that means too, because we're going to need to get out all of the players via email at some point. So stay tuned. We'll give you some more details as we go. That being said, I do want to give a big shout out to a couple of people. The Coach T, Chicago Bears 360 just jumped in. What it do, Coach T? And Not So Little Plank. What it do, Not So Little Plank, representing with us, giving a shout out to his pop. So I figured I'd give Not So Little Plank a little bit of love. And my guy Hair Bear's out there too. What it do, Hair Bear? Yo, a packed house tonight. Good show. Good turnout.
Yeah, and I got to shout out Coach T. He had his first show back, the revamped show, back in effect. It was awesome. He's got some great guests working with him, a great crew. It's as good as always, if not better. And the season's going to be super exciting working with Coach T. I'm doing some graphics for him. He's breaking down everything football. This is a man who knows his football. That's why we call him Coach. There's a reason for that. Check his show out. It's absolutely a blast and a great learning experience for everybody who doesn't matter how much football you know. Get in there. You will learn something for sure.
My guy, Coach, man. What's up, Coach, man? Hey, listen, that guy right there, we definitely going to be connecting early and often during the season as much as we can be. We're going to be busy, both of us over here at the Nomad Network and Coach T at Chicago Bears 360. But when we can, we will link up. I'm sure Coach will come on. I'll go on his show whenever he asks me. And so we'll do some great content together, man. I do respect that guy and what he does and love what he does. I'll try to get in the show more often when we ain't busy over here. I'll try to get in there and actually chat live. I miss doing that because when I watch Coach T's stuff, it's always a nugget in there somewhere that he does during the show that I'm like, okay, I didn't think about that aspect of it. It's always something. So learn something every time I watch. I'm a football guy, and I learned something watching Coach T's show. So definitely check him out. Love what he's doing, man, and appreciate you for J2K for whatever you're doing with him, man. So I appreciate that. But before we go any further, man, and also, kids, make sure you tell these people, man, we need you when you sign up, get your friends, get your homeboys, get your girlfriends, whoever you want to get involved in this fantasy thing. That's how fantasy usually works. You get a guy or two that comes into the league and he wants to play against his guys, his friends, that atmosphere will be available here at Superflex. So tell them about that, kids.
I will double down on that and say if you've got an existing league, by all means, you can for the most part, port the entire league over to us and figure things out from there, right? We're completely open-ended in that respect. Really, it's just about building community across the NFL and having a whole lot of fun and a whole lot of shit talk. So that's what Superflex is going to be all about, y'all. There it is.
So you're right, Coach. A huge shout out to J2K. He is the creative director behind both of these shows, man. So yes, J2K. We've probably gotten a slap fight today about what to put on the thumbnail, but that was a good one.
It came out good, man. But that was a fun process.
He won this round.
It was a good process, and it was a brainstorming session. So it wasn't a slap fight,
That's what we call. Yeah, that's what we call when we're yelling at each other for about 45 minutes to a half hour.
Right. Good slap fight going on. But
shout out to Coach T again. I appreciate all the support and love doing graphics for him. He's got a great community, and so do we. And it's a we thing. We're all doing this together. We all share in the same Bears community, and all you guys who are hanging out in the chat right now and listening to this podcast a little bit later, hop over to Coach T's channel, give him a subscribe, check him out when he goes live. You're gonna love his show.
Coach said that gold DJ Moore thumbnail was the hardest thing he
ever seen. Yeah, Coach on Twitter said it. He spent about 5 minutes just staring at it. More to come, man. More to come.
Hey, she playing. Smash that like button.
Go ahead, keep going, kid.
61 watching and only 43 likes. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get a little bit more love going. Thanks, Sheeplank.
We got to do better than that. Thank you, Sheeplank. Hey, listen, before we flip to the defensive side of the ball, because I did want to talk about DeAndre Swift, and we just going to run into a time problem, and Cole Kmet. I don't want to leave him out. Hopefully, at the end of this thing, we can come back to him when we pick the actual MVP of the defense and the offense. But before we get to the defensive side of the ball, we need to take a stroll to the money side of things, man, and the creative side of things that J2K has done for us over here at the Nomad Network. We got to take a look at the website because it is open for business now. Finally open for business. We got the new apparel designs right here. J2K has created for us, man, and boy, oh boy, did we work hard trying to get this thing up and going. It was a hassle, but it was one out of love, man. It was a lot going on in this website, trying to get it up and going, the business side of it. But here it is. You can go purchase anything you want. You see stuff in there that you like, go ahead and purchase it now. I've got my hands on the there's a hoodie down there at the bottom of here. This football Chicago style. I've gotten that one already. Football Chicago, that one over there to your left. I've got that one already, and it is as dope as it looks on the screen. I got the black one. So I want to tell you, and I also have the Nomad Network t-shirt. My girlfriend has that. And so both of those are good quality material. I washed it. It didn't shrink. I dried it hard. It didn't shrink. So I'm just letting you know there's some good quality merchandise inside here. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna get a little cocky right now. It's the best looking podcast merch that I've seen so far. And there might be some other podcast merch out there that looks better, but I hadn't seen it yet. And so just letting you guys know, if you're interested, there's even a cool ass EPMD Nomad Live hat right there. You see that, kids? The fisherman hat.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. That's that.
Yeah,
that's that old PMD right there.
It's some good stuff in here, man.
Those are tough. I might have to get one of those.
We encourage you guys. Yes, we encourage you guys. Go ahead if you have the means, and if you feel like it, if you want to represent the network with the season getting ready to come around and everybody being so excited about that, please do us a favor, because we do intend on making this something that we can lean into and make some money and make everybody happy around here. So anything you can do, if you can get some merchandise for yourself, a family member, whoever, just go ahead if you have the means to get you something. My favorite is the football Chicago style. That is easily my favorite, and I'm going to do my damn best to get that on Coach Flus this year. I might have to reach out to his wife to do it, but I'll freaking do it, just to let you guys know. But J2K, if you want to talk about what you put in this website, go right ahead.
Well, right off the bat, we do have a sale going on. This for the front end is for all the new maniacs out there, and some of these hoodies, some of these t-shirts, about $5-10 off right now. If there is anything you guys want that isn't on this website, we have a lot of options. We didn't want to put everything on this site just to overwhelm you guys. If you are looking for something specific, reach out to us. We can do custom orders for sure. Just hit us up, let us know what you're thinking, and I could shoot you guys just a visual sample to see the logo on whatever item you're looking for, and you can go from there. As far as the rest of the website, this shop is awesome, and it's fully integrated, so it's super easy to purchase, check out, get tracking information, all that kind of good stuff.
And guys, what is the website again? I know a couple people in chat also asked if you could plug it in the chat too.
It's right there on the bottom of the screen, the-nomad-network.com.
It's under shop.
Yeah, it's right there on the shop. I will put it in there into the chat right now. So you guys keep talking.
And Nick, if you want to go back to the homepage. So yeah, we've got apparel designs at the top. Then we got another section below that just to let people know we got 2 different types of shows. Hit us up, subscribe, watch on YouTube. We're going to be doing live game broadcasts, you guys. So hit us up. This may be a members only thing. We might do some test runs for preseason that will be free to everybody, just so you can see what goes on behind the stage. It's a little more of a hangout, like you're hanging out on the couch with us, watching the game. Podcast library. You can go and look at our podcasts as well. That's the team right there. Got all our heads, all linked to Twitter. And then if advertisers or partnerships, if you're out there, come check us out, reach out to us, let us know you want to work with us, and we'll work with you. We're looking absolutely to help other people out. There's a nice contact section.
Appreciate J2K for all the work put into this. This didn't just pop out of the ether, man. This is a lot of work that he put into this, a lot of conversations, this started back when Chris was still here with us, and so it's a labor of love, and it's got a lot of emotion attached to it because of all that. And, it was just a long time coming, man. We had to take care of everything, the business side of it, man. It was just, nothing comes easy. You know what I mean? But if you work hard and you got true intent behind what you do, and you just believe in what you do, you put it on merchandise and other people like it. I like our own product. And so I will wear everything you see in this damn thing. Trust me when I tell you, I think all of it's nice. But if you go back in there, there's this one particular, go to the hoodies for me, Nick. There's this one hoodie. I'm a green guy, you guys. I'm a real green guy. Now, if you go to, see, there it is. You go to Chicago football style. Not that one. I like that one on the, go back to the, go to Chicago football style for me. There's this green hoodie. It's actually a Nomad Live hoodie. I think there's a green version. No, it's not. There it is. I think that's the dopest hoodie in here. If you like Army and Marine green, like me, like Coach probably is a Marine guy. Coach is a Marine guy, there's no probably to it. If you like that kind of green, like that's the next thing I'm getting right there. Is that Marine green football Chicago style. That's my thing. So I just had to throw that out there.
That's tough. I like it.
I love it. And that green looks good on all this gear. So that's the next merch I'm getting is the Marine green. I rock the hell out of that, man. That's just my style. But thank you for all that, J2K, man. You've been great ever since you came on with us, man. So I appreciate everything you did to pull this off. It's some nice looking stuff in here, and it's all due to you and your work. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We can get out of here for a second. Hey, check out the merch. Go buy something if you're willing. We will appreciate that, man. Coach said he liked that Marine green. That's what I'm talking about, Coach. The real ones know that Marine green is where it's at. But let's get to the defense, man. Let's get to that.
Just really quick to answer, it's Crimson, you dig? The hats are going to be back. It's just the manufacturer of the hats that we went with. They just ran out of stock, so they're going to come back in a day or two. It's actually a little surprise that we're unveiling the website today, and they actually have just ran out of stock. But they're almost always 99% of the time they're full in stock.
Which hat we talking about?
A couple of the hats were listed as sold out because
Okay.
the manufacturer just ran
they-
out of those for.
It's probably
That's
looking
the first time I actually seen any of our apparel actually be listed as sold out. Just a heads up, but
I
they'll
bet
be back soon enough.
that trucker hat was kind of cool though. That trucker hat down there was pretty cool. I like that one too. That trucker hat right there. Yeah, everybody's getting into that. Kind of give them a side view of it so they can see that's cool. All that stuff really cool, man. Yeah. So it's a lot of options in there, man. It's a lot of dope stuff in there, a lot of gear, It's just we could definitely use the support so we can remember, man, it's all about what we can do with all the proceeds, man. It's going to be days and times when we do fundraisers and drives for different organizations, and when you can show that your community really looks out for you, and you ask them and they provide. There's so many great things we can do, not just on this website. This stuff can go so many different directions. We can do so many good things for communities, different things for social causes that help people. I'm that kind of guy anyway. So just be generous if you feel like it, and go grab some gear. And when you do, let us know that you got it. Send us a picture. Do any of that stuff, but let us know what you bought. I'll be interested to see what you have. So,
And just to clarify, we got there's a whole bunch of camo style hoodies, t-shirts that we can work with. So maybe that's the next thing. We'll add a whole camo series for you guys, because I know that's a good one.
I rock with camo too. I need to see more of that for sure. No doubt. But let's get to the defense, man. Let's get to the defense. And this is my side of the ball. And this is where I lay my hat down right now. And so here we're going to talk about the first most obvious person that could be defensive MVP during this training camp. And we pray that he's not the MVP during this training camp, and that is Montez Sweat. Because if he's the MVP during training camp, we're struggling. Go ahead, kids.
Oh, I thought when you said the most obvious guy, I was looking at a whole different guy. Once again, you said DJ Moore. I was looking at DeAndre Swift. You say the most obvious guy on defense. I'm looking at a different man. So I'm going to talk about Montez Sweat. If he's super dominant, which he will be in practice, the upside is that it's going to have an iron sharpens iron effect on the defense. I just kind of hope they have him lined up against Braxton a little bit more so than Darnell Wright. I think that'll probably be the better way to sort of line that up. And there's no questions as to whether he can, take over a practice. The man's a monster. I'll leave it there. J2K.
Yeah, I think he's our best player on defense, and he can easily be the MVP of the season. Training camp's a little bit different because they don't have pads on. There's no tackling. They're not hitting. It's not quite the same. So it would be hard for me to hand out a training camp MVP to a D lineman or an O lineman, just because they're not playing that actual role once they start hitting. And I'm forgetting who we have a joint practice with another team. Was it the Bengals or the Browns?
Bengals.
Yes.
Bengals.
Yeah. So I think that's when we'll start seeing a little more hitting, because those always get a little more chippy. So we might see Montez Sweat kind of make a nice appearance there. But I would lean on a secondary player becoming the MVP for training camp on defense. Plank, what do you think?
So other than Sweat, right?
Well, you can stick with Sweat. What do you think is his chances of being the training camp MVP defense?
I'll tell you who I'd like to see be the MVP is Gervon.
Yeah, I think
I'm really
There's your most obvious
really
guy.
wanting. Yeah, I'm ready to see him, man. I'm ready to see him this season. I'm ready. He's a dog.
Hold on, I got Jason with the $1.99 super chat. It's Nomad. You don't need camo. We already can't see.
Yeah, faceless bastard.
Yeah.
Well, he said, "Whoop."
Shots fired, Jason. Nice one, brother. I appreciate that one. That was a good one.
Well, go ahead, Paulie, man. I interrupted. Thank you,
No, you're
Jason.
good, man. I just know, this bald guy, those fishing style hats, and they're a savior. I don't know if you've ever had sunburn on the top of your head, but it is no fun, man. So yeah, I was looking at those. Those look pretty nice. You guys have some really good merchandise up there, and yeah, I hope it sells for you because it's definitely some good looking stuff. And when it comes to the defensive MVP, I approach the question the same way I approach the offensive question. What's the most obvious and what's the most important? And man, you guys took all my thunder. I agree with J2K too. I mean, Montez Sweat is definitely the most obvious. The most important would be Javon Dexter. However, it is a practice. I think the secondary might be the ones that have the most opportunity to make some of these more highlight type plays, especially against the wide receivers we have going on. So yeah, I agree with all you guys, man.
Yeah, I do not want to see Montez Sweat wreck this offensive game plan in training camp. But I know that in order for Caleb Williams to see the real basically the best look team in the NFL, that defense is going to have to be lights out on Caleb Williams at times. There's going to be times when they're going to call that defense back and tell them, put the leash on them and, pull them back a little bit to let plays mature so that Caleb can see that. Hopefully they were doing a bunch of that during OTAs, because that's important too. You can have that defense, turn into a bunch of Doberman pinchers and pin their ears back and just get after them and make them look terrible. It's easy to do that to a rookie in a training camp like this one. But you don't want that to be the case every day. But at the same time, there's a medium. You don't want to make this easy for Caleb Williams at the same time. I think everybody can agree with that. You need to make this kid see some adversity. And if that means sicking Montez Sweat on him, sick Montez Sweat on him. But he needs to see that adversity in order for him to be prepared for this season. And Montez Sweat wouldn't be a surprise whatsoever to me to hear the reporters and whoever's at the camp say that Montez Sweat is unblockable out there. He's giving everybody work. He's supposed to, right? And so easy call right there. Montez Sweat could easily be the MVP of this defense. But here's my favorite. My pick to be the defensive MVP, and I'm calling this right now. Kevin Byard. Why?
Yeah.
Because we have a rookie quarterback, and they're going to be giving him looks. He's going to look him one way, and he's going to surprise. Caleb's going to get him a couple of times or two, but he's not going to fool that vet. And I think Kevin Byard is the best safety in football. And I'm talking about all around coverage, range, playing up in the box, making plays in the hole. I think he's the best safety in football. I said that when we did the free agency show. I mean, when we did the free agency show, kids, everybody, I believe that from the beginning, and I think he's going to come here, and I think that's going to be Caleb's nemesis in training camp. I think it's going to be Kevin Byard picking him off and pissing him off a lot. I'm calling right now Kevin Byard the MVP of this training camp on defense.
He's my number 2 defensive MVP. It's Gavon and Kevin Byard. I think Kevin Byard is walking into a situation with this team where he has all the tools that Eddie Jackson did not. And I'm not really trying to take anything away from Eddie. Eddie was good at what he did. There were certain things he didn't do. Don't have to obviously point out the you know what I'm saying? I don't have to point out the obvious, right? What I will say is Kevin Byard will do those things Eddie Jackson did not do, and he will excel at doing them. So he's one of the players I honestly cannot wait to see on the field this season, because I think this secondary has something special going on, y'all. Let alone what's going on with the rest of this team. I think the secondary is going to be lights out, y'all.
Yes, no fly zone.
That's it. That's where I'm at. J2K, thoughts?
Well, I love Kevin Byard. I love that signing, but there's no way I'm putting that guy above Anton Winfield at Tampa Bay and a young superstar in Kyle Hamilton with the Baltimore Ravens. There's just no way.
I'm doing it.
All right.
Look, no, I'm with you there too.
Yeah, I love the signing. 2 years ago, he was a consensus, top 5 safety in the league. He went to the Eagles. They had all sorts of problems. They flip-flopped defensive coordinators. They had no linebackers.
34th ranked player in the NFL just 1 year ago. 34.
Well, pre-Eagles, 2 years.
Okay, he went to a new team and everything changed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we got an absolute steal. I think the contract is a steal. I think there's plenty of tread left on those tires. I've watched a bunch of tape of him this offseason just to wrap my head around his style of game. He can play free. He can play strong. There's a reason why we're playing left and right safeties, not free safety, strong safety with Brisker. It's fantastic for the defensive scheme. Hard for offensive coordinators to figure out who's going to be single high out of the two, who's going to be dropping down into the box. Makes everything just that much more difficult. I loved Bojack, loved his coverage skills, but his tackling was an issue, and it made things pretty easy to figure out for offensive coordinators what Bojack was going to be doing. At a time with Fangio, when we're playing a lot of that cover 3 single high, and it was obvious what we're doing, but you couldn't beat it because Bojack's range was so good. So while I do like the Byard signing, I think there's another guy I would give the MVP potentially to out of that second.
You want to save that name?
I will save that name.
Probably going to talk about.
I'll pass this over to Plank and see what he thinks about Byard.
I think he's a ball hawk. I think he's probably got a lot to prove himself to the league, but I think he's a ball hawk. I'm all for him. And I guess, kids wouldn't touch on it, but the dude's going to tackle. I mean, he's going to tackle. Those business decisions are going to be.
You said it. I was trying not to say it, right? You
I know. I'm all for Byard. I was high on it when
it's just because I say it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I say it all the time, so I had to give the man a pass.
Yeah, I mean, I'll beat that dead horse, but yeah, I was glad when they got him. I think he's a ball hawk, and I don't know if the NFL overlooks him, but sometimes I think maybe fans do. He's good.
Very good. What say you, Paulie?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if you guys saw that little clip from the Giants Hard Knocks with Caleb talking to Brian Dable, and he tells him, "Hey, you get one offensive play, you got to run it all game. Which play do you want?" And he draws up a play, and he goes, "Okay, so like the best defense against us is cover 2. Are you comfortable throwing, to the inside receiver, inside shoulder?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're not worried about that safety? You could throw over him?" And Caleb's like, "Yeah." They're like, "You've done it before?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem." And so that's where that like cockiness comes into play. But listen, these aren't your college safeties, man. These guys have a way of disguising their coverage, and sometimes some things that are obvious to you, they'll find a way to sit there and make you bite on it. And because you said not to disrespect Eddie Jackson, I mean, I love every single Bears player that comes through the doors and is here. And Eddie for a little while was my guy, but yeah, clearly his game was very one-dimensional in a way. But we don't have to disrespect him because 31 other teams are already doing that for us. Where's he at? Right.
Yeah.
And so just the truth is the truth. The situation is the situation. It sucks. It is what it is. But Kevin Byard is an upgrade, a huge upgrade. We got a veteran guy in here that's got a lot of experience at that position. Like Plank said, ball hawk, man, this guy has an opportunity to eat this year for sure.
Listen,
and he will take your bloody head off. Like it's
Yeah,
it's a little,
absolutely.
it's quite frankly both of those things, and that's why I'm excited to see the guy play.
this let me tell you something. Let me break this down the way I see it. And everybody said the right stuff on this go around, man. Kevin Byard, I'm telling you, when you're ranked by your peers, that means the other NFL players as a 34th best player in football. 34. 34. I will repeat that. You talking about how many players you got? 32 multiply 53 times 32 and whatever. That's how many players we have in the NFL. Let me tell you something. You're a bad boy. And I've said this and I keep saying this. Kevin Byard is the best safety in football all around. He's got range. I mean, he's got everything Eddie Jackson had. Range from sideline to sideline, but where Eddie Jackson leaked his game in the box when it comes down to coming down in the hole, filling that hole, and making sure that that play stops with you. That means I'm the last line of defense. You don't get past me. Kevin Byard, it's aces in everything Eddie Jackson lacked. And I'm just like Paul. I'm an Eddie Jackson fan, but there's no lying. There's no BS in me when I say Eddie Jackson leaked when it came to the run game and filling holes. When those gaps opened up and guys came through clean, Eddie Jackson was leaking. He's a little passive, you know what I mean? And I know Eddie Jackson had the foot issue all last year, and he had that for the last couple of years. No, making no excuses for him. But when it came down to it, he would not secure tackles. And, you know, that's why they went out and Eddie Jackson would still be here if he did that. But instead, they got the best safety in football, in my opinion. He had a down year in Philly on a new team and a new system for the first time in his pro career. So I understood that part of it. But I'm telling you, by the time we come back and have this conversation about Kevin Byard, everybody's going to be like, hey, man, I understand what you're saying. Now, this dude, I'm telling you, he's going to be the stud, and he's going to be Caleb's nemesis in camp. And I think he's going to be the MVP on defense. That's the guy people are going to be talking about. So just get ready for that. All right, let's get to the next guy who is everybody's favorite right now. Of course, mine, because I definitely scouted and recruited and did all the film work on Javon Dexter, talked him up before we drafted him, and we ended up with him, you know. And so nobody feels as good about this young cat as me. I know what he can bring to the table. He's a trimmed down, you know, slimmed up version of himself, and that's just going to help him. It's going to help him get off the ball faster. It's going to help him run sideline to sideline, and that's dangerous. And what do you think, Kez, his chances, Javon Dexter, of being the training camp MVP?
Yeah, when you said, obvious guys, Montez Sweat. Personally, I think the obvious guy is Javon Dexter, and I kind of need him to be the obvious guy and the MVP. That's really what I need. If he's the MVP of training camp this summer, oh boys, we got ourselves a defense, right? That's really all we need. We need one more wrecking ball on that line to really show defenses and put the fear of God in them. If that comes by way of Javon Dexter, I'm super in. I'm all in. Let's go. J2K?
Well, I mean, going back to the same reason why I don't think Montez Sweat can be the MVP. It's just offensive, defensive line. They're just not hitting. There's not a lot of things they can do. You can't sack the quarterback. You know, even if you beat somebody with your hands, you can't make as much contact as you would in an actual live game or preseason. So while I'm very optimistic that Dexter will take a huge leap this season, and don't count out, I still think he's going to get 20% of his snaps are going to be at edge, which I'm very confident that's going to ring true. I love Dexter. I see him taking a huge step this year, but just given the parameters of what training camp is, I'd still go with the defensive back as my MVP. Blank, what do you think about Dexter?
I love him. I mean, I think I stated that earlier. I love Gervon. I think this is going to be his year, and it's looking up for him, I think.
Yep. I'd say the same thing. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, man. In a 4-3 defense, that 3 technique, that starts it all. I mean, that is the piece right there. So huge opportunity for the kid. I don't know if you guys saw that picture of him. Looked like he bulked up even more. I mean, just there's a lot going on there. So super important for him to be able to take steps forward and continue to progress in his game. And so if that's the case, like Ken said, man, we're in a good spot.
What they're gonna ask him to do with Montez Sweat coming off, because they like to play them side by side. They found something playing those two guys side by side. They seem to work well off of each other. And when those guys are next to each other, expect some good things to happen on that side of the ball. I think offenses are going to have to overcompensate to take care of that side of the ball. There's some big dudes over there, and and they're out there on one tackle, one guard. You're going to have to do some things to compensate if you got those two guys sitting on the edge coming after you. Now, I do think his chances of we'll hear from the your Alex Shapiro's and your Herb Howards of the world of who's tearing it up in training camp and which one of those guys are unblockable and who's making the most noise. We'll hear about it. We won't have to be there every day and have people there every day reporting on it. We'll hear stuff and we'll find out, what Javon Dexter is doing. But I do think he's got a chance to really shine and make a name for himself. I think he's already done that, but to really cement himself in that role as the 3 tech, that's the most important role on the defense per, what's his name? I'm looking at him right now. Rod Marinelli. We got to have that. So his role is very important, man. So let's move to the next guy. Let's move a little quick because I don't want to stay too long. And the next guy I have on my list is Jaylon Johnson. Johnson. Yes, what do you about Jaylon Johnson's chances to be the defensive MVP this training camp?
I have to think about that because, I got a totally other guy thinking of here. I have 2 other guys I'm thinking of. It really wouldn't be Jaylon. I don't think I actually think there's slim to no chance for Jaylon, and the reason for that is, I don't see Caleb targeting Jaylon a whole lot in practice. I'm just being real, right? Like defense, most offenses in the NFL don't particularly want to target Jaylon Johnson. I wouldn't blame Caleb Williams for not doing it either. That's where I am with it. J2K, what do you think?
For the exact reason you said, I think he is the MVP because he's an island that nobody goes to, right? Nobody leaves either.
Nobody goes to that.
God, I knew
they go there, they disappear.
I knew what that felt like in high school, man. It's the most boring job in football once it's established that you don't want to throw over here. What I mean? So it's just a boring football game, but that's how Jaylon has to live his life.
True.
If he's picking grass all game, it's a good thing.
Right.
I'm over there.
What do you think about Jaylon Johnson?
Plank, what say you?
Well, I'm right there with them. I mean, how much is he going to be thrown at? But then again, I mean, if Caleb wants to see what he can do, what he can get by with, if you get it past Jaylon, hey, it's just going to make him better. And, Caleb is a baller. Maybe he will test the waters. But then again, I don't know if that's going to make JJ the MVP of training camp. But if I was Caleb, I'd test the water. Why not? It's training camp.
So I'm glad you brought it up like that, Plank, because he actually already has. So Jaylon Johnson gave a recent interview, and he was mentioning how he was running to the left, thinking, oh, this is an easy pickup. I'm going to just grab this thing out of the sky. And as he goes up, he's like, oh, snap. He floated it perfectly over where I should be. And, it was a reception over top of Jaylon Johnson. So maybe for that reason alone, maybe Caleb Williams has Jaylon Johnson's number, and he's definitely not going to be the MVP of practice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jaylon. I love you, brother.
What's the idea, guys? Find the biggest man, go punch him right in the face.
Yeah.
Establish your dominance. Let's go, right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
What
What say you about Jaylon, though, Paulie?
I mean, Jalen's a solid corner for sure. And he's there as a good veteran presence. I think all three of these corners have a chance to, like I said, put up some highlights during the training camps because, man, we got those wide receivers out there that we want to see what we can do with. And, pressure creates bad throws. I want to go back to 2006. I remember Nate Vesher had 7 interceptions that year. And, man, never touched that number again in his career. He was right place, right time. Man, that defensive line was getting pressure. That ball was coming out. And Nate Vesher just happened to be there, right? So that's part of it, man. When it all starts up front and it's all working up front, these corners get way more opportunities.
Hey, I'm going to bring this into my conversation about Jaylon Johnson versus Caleb Williams and whatever receiver he's trying to get at. I'm gonna take it to this element that I know exists in any training camp. Shit talking. Jalen's gonna talk shit to Caleb, and he's gonna push him and make him want to get after him and make him want to throw the ball at him to prove him wrong. Caleb's a competitive mother or something, and so is Jaylon Johnson. And those confrontations are gonna happen during camp. Caleb is gonna get berated by Jaylon Johnson. He's going to get berated by Jaylon. Jalen's going to be talking shit to him. And that's going to make Caleb want to try him more and more often. So I see that dynamic as a piece of that unseen part of the conversation we might not have had yet. He's going to talk cash shit to that kid. He's like, why you ain't throwing the ball at me, man? You scared? You scared? He going to be talking shit. You might not be as good as everybody's saying. Jalen's going to talk shit to him. And he should. He's going to try him. And so for that reason, I give him a little bit more of a chance than Kez might have said. Just because of that element. He's going to push him and he's going to goad him into doing things that he probably shouldn't just because Jalen's talking shit to him. And it's fool's gold and it's a trap. But he's gonna fall for it at some point during camp. He's gonna get tired of Jaylon talking shit to him, and he's gonna start attacking him in the air. Jalen's gonna get him a time or two. That's just a given fact. He's gonna get him. But that being said, let's talk about. Let me see. I got one more guy because my guy Paul. I don't want to keep him long. He's got stuff to do. But we're gonna talk about one more guy, man, and that is Kyler Gordon, kids. Is that a name you've been thinking about, talking about?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Kyler Gordon flashes every camp.
Look, I love Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Spider-Man's going to Spider-Man's going to level up dealing with Keenan Allen in the slot. Like he is, and you're right for that reason specifically. But without getting deep into the other two guys, for me, Austin Booker. Real talk, Austin Booker has the opportunity to take over this entire training camp. He has the opportunity to do it. If he can, holy smokes, much like Javon Dexter, watch out, world. The Bears have a defensive line. It's a problem.
Okay, so
final guy for me.
Let me reframe this conversation because you just took it there. How about this? Instead of talking about Kyler Gordon, let's talk about who you think on defense is going to be that unsung hero that nobody's talking about since you took it there. And you said who?
I said Austin Booker.
Austin Booker. Okay. All right. What say you, J2K?
Jaylon Johnson's the MVP, just because I think he just shuts everybody down. I'm very excited to see the growth out of Gordon, Brisker, and Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek.
The amount of growth that I saw from Stevenson at the end of last year, I think we found an absolute gem, and someone who, dare I say, has the potential to be better than Jaylon Johnson. So that's the guy who I'm going to be rooting for. So we'll see. Blank, what do you think about who's your MVP of this defense?
Well, I said earlier I was, Gervon, Tyreek. I'm right there with you. I mean, on Tyreek, I really, really, I'm eager to see. At the beginning of the season, it was kind of like, but there at the end of the season, it was like, whoa. And I'm right there with you. I think he could be on the level of JJ. I really do.
What say you, Paulie?
Oh, definitely. The interesting thing is, like, for the first couple of years, Jaylon Johnson didn't get any interceptions. My bold prediction at the start of this year was that he was going to come up with more than 2 because he had so few in his entire career before that. But however, he's always been a solid guy, right? So Tyreek Stevenson, the knock on him was supposed to be some coverage issues. He might let some stuff get behind him, this and that. I didn't see that. Man, that kid is a tough run stopper, really tough run stopper. He's beyond the interceptions. I believe he created a fumble or 2. I know he definitely did create a fumble against the Lions with the kick return, where he got his helmet in there, got the ball loose, and we wound up with that ball. And so, kids playing lights out, man. Yeah, I really, really, really think that if he continues on this path, that he has a great NFL career in front of him. Kyler Gordon, he's not bad either. He's not a bad corner either. And for where he's at in his career and what he's going to be asked to do, he may have some opportunities there as well. So, yeah, I like both those guys. But I think another guy that just comes to my mind also is, Zach Pickens. I think Zach Pickens has an opportunity in front of him a little bit as well, because we're going to need to rotate that interior defensive lineman. And I know we have Billings, but, there's a lot on Dexter's plate right now. And he can't be out there every play, right? Especially not in a 4-3. So I think Zach Pickens kind of needs to put his big boy pants on and show up too. And if he does, he might have some really good opportunities for some good, good moments during the season.
I'm glad you brought that up, Paul, because that just brings me to, and this is just me trying to round out this conversation, because I'm glad you brought up Zach Pickens. I think he's why I think there's another move to be made on the defensive front in the interior. I think there's 2 moves that can possibly be made sometime between now and in the training camp. And that's another interior defensive lineman, meaning a nose tackle. We need another big body, in my opinion, in order to see Zach Pickens take the next step and be more of, I see him being capable at the 1 tech, 0 tech, and at that nose tackle position. But I think you can get way more out of him if you move him outside just a little bit more and let him attack. And so you can clearly see that on his film. I think, yes, I said this a few times on these shows, that I think Zach Pickens could absolutely surprise a lot of people in this camp, and a lot of people. And that's determined on whether or not we get another guy that comes in here and gives him an opportunity to move around a little bit and not play so much 1 and 0 tech. And so I do have a lot of high hopes for Zach Pickens, because I don't even think we saw a sliver of what I know that cat is capable of. And he's a hidden gem inside this defense. And so, yes, I do look forward to that. But I want to talk about many more people: Kyler Gordon, of course, Tyreek Stevenson, Noah Sewell. I want to talk about him. There's a lot of conversations to be had about a bunch of different guys. And so, you guys let us know in the comments section what you think about who you think is going to be the offensive MVP and the defensive MVP in this on this defense in this training camp. Let us know in the comments section. We can't get to each and everything during these shows. All we can do is stretch it out to the next one. But with that being said, let me pass it off to my guy, the Canuck, for some pleasantries before we get ready to get out of here.
I laugh because I've been reading the chat. And No love to John and no love to Don. Neither one of y'all get any love tonight, not on this show. Y'all know what it is. It's super funny. Shout out to Clip Victoria, SST dog. I know Clip Victoria out there is laughing right now because, hey man. So I went to a spot today, just a little spot to do some shopping, and somebody saw my Khalil Mack jersey. And they're like, hey, man, you must be super excited about this season. I'm like, bro. So, anyways, it was this dude, and as he was talking to me, another dude's walking past me from, he's a Philly fan wearing a Philly jersey.
Cutting grass, kids, man. They thought you were somewhere cutting grass in that thing.
Well, it might have been, but I still made it to another spot with it. Anyhow, so the second Philly fan comes up to me and he's like, "Oh man, you must be stoked about your team." I'm like, "Holy cow!" And like, I'm talking about how awesome my team is, and this Philly fan proceeds to direct me right back to the double doink, and I'm like, "Man, I don't hate Philly fans, but why did you have to bring me back to that moment in time?" When the reality is, I don't think we're not in double doink land anymore, guys. You know what I'm saying? Other fans can see it. They're in your chat trolling for a reason. I think folks out there might be a little bit scared.
Just a wee bit.
A little worried. So worried that Ryan Pace might have done all the right stuff. And even us Bears fans are a little bit worried because we've never seen that before. We've never seen him, like GM, come out and do all the right stuff. And at this point, we're almost there. It's almost a season. It's about 50-50. Either he did all the right stuff and we are in for a couple of seasons of serious Bears football, or he messed up.
Hold on. My God, the
Gandia, the Podfather. Quick stop by, $10. Blessings, sir. We appreciate it, brother. Bear down. Big love to the Podfather, y'all. Follow him at the bar room.
The Podfather.
Hey, the Podfather. Hey, man. Anyways, give a little bit more love to you guys as we head out. Joseph Belinsky, what it do? Big shout outs to my guy, the Bishop, showing the Bishop a little bit of love tonight. Clip Victoria, SST, dog. SST, bro. No love for you, Don. I said it once, say it again. John, no love for you either. Black Diamond, it's Crimson. King Book of World, thanks for the super chat earlier on. Jigsaw, Smitty Q, we got the Calvins with us today. We got a double dose of Calvin. Tracks, what it do? Tracks. Man, hey, Plank, thanks for representing with us. She Plank, Lil Plank, it was awesome having you on. Paul, thanks for coming through, brother. Super cool chopping it up with you, Besky. Trust me, brother. Hey, man, great show. I had fun. On to you, J2K.
Before 8. My bad, J2K. Good one, kid. You got that one in there. J2K, before you go, I just wanted to ask Aldo something. Aldo, did you put the egg on the burger? That's all I want to know, man. Did you put the fried egg on the burger? It's a life-changing experience if you did. If you didn't, man, shame on you, man. You don't know what you just missed. But let me know about that, Aldo, if you put the egg on the burger. But here we go. It's Crimson you did. He said $2 super chat. Go Bears, F Green Bay, 56 days left, folks. Let's do this shit. Go, J2K, my bad.
All right, well, one more time. I'm just going to show this one more time.
Super Fats Fantasy Football Show. Coming at you, y'all. Coming at you.
Yeah, so we'll get some more details with you guys next week. We're planning some great stuff. We're just hammering it out a little bit right now, but we're all ready to go. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Plank, thank you so much for joining us. She Plank, Little Plank, we appreciate you, all the support you've given us, and it was great to have you tonight to get to know you a little bit more. I appreciate that you put up the little Bears mantle of stuff you have. It looks super dope. And yeah, thank you very much. And Paul, appreciate you for hanging out this whole time, man. Thank you for all the hard work you do in the Bears media universe, giving us some great content out there. I just want to shout you out one more time and give you this little video. So everybody go find Bearski Films on all his social media platforms. Like, share, subscribe. Help this guy out. He's a great guy. Appreciate him coming on. For myself, I got myself a little plug. So if you guys want to check out what I do design-wise, go check out the website. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. I even got a little YouTube channel. That's just for some of these small videos I put out just so you guys can check them out. Appreciate all you guys. Everybody have a wonderful week. I will talk at you soon in the chat. Next time live, this same time next week, next Sunday. So I'm going to pass over to Plank. Thank you again for joining us, Plank. Share us how you're feeling, man.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on. I mean, it's the first time I've ever done anything like this. I hope I didn't stutter and stammer too much.
Oh, no, Plank, you was the shit, man. Don't even worry about it. You with the shit all night.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Even if you did Plank, we wouldn't care, man. The amount of love and support that you and the fam have shown us over the years, we appreciate it to the heart, brother. Thanks for coming through.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. I appreciate the chat. It's nice seeing the chat. I'll have to read the chat tomorrow, I guess. But yeah. I do want to say though, if you have not checked out Bearski Films, you need to do so. I'm telling you, I'll go over there, I'll watch it, I'll go in height, right? Because we're looking good this season. And I'll come out of a Bearski film wanting to run through walls. I'm telling you, Bearski will make you hyped. I'm telling you, he's good. You need to check out Bearski if you're not doing it.
Yeah, thank you for the love, guys, man. That's awesome.
Hey, Bearski, you putting crack on them videos, getting people addicted or something.
Well, yeah. I thought it was obvious. Wait, you guys are just figuring this out? No. Yeah, no. Much love to you guys, and having Plank on, it's awesome because I always see you commenting on my videos and stuff. So it's always nice to put a face to the name. It's always nice to put a character to that face as well. And I gotta say, man, you guys had a great show tonight. I always, there's a lot of people that always want to talk about right now in the moment. I love looking forward a little bit. So it's nice to sit here and just have some, a little bit of predictions and some thoughts on what's ahead of us. And beyond the hype, I think it's just more confident this year, guys. I feel more confident. That's the difference for me. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for all the love, man. I appreciate you guys, and I'm glad you guys love my videos. And I'm not going to stop anytime soon. So
good.
My only question to all of you guys and everybody that's watching the show live, involved in the chat, or listen to it on the audio pod: did you have a good time? That's the only question I got. Did you come in? Did you have a good time? Talking about football, man, talking about these Chicago Bears. That's the goal of every show. Did you have a good time? And that's so that's it, man. So thank you so much, Plank. Man, your first time, and I know it wasn't easy for you. I know deep down inside it was a 50-50 chance if you wanted to do it or not. But I'm so glad that you crossed that threshold and said, you know what, I'm gonna give it to these guys. I'm gonna let the world see who I am, and I'm cool with it. Man, you were awesome tonight. I just want you to know that, dude. Anytime you want to, you know how we feel about you. So just know that you can come back anytime you freaking feel like it, man. And I say the same thing to you, Paul. What you do, I really admire. And I think I can speak for everybody here. Everybody admires what you do. Everybody puts this work into this Bears content universe and this effort. And sometimes it's not always there. And people find time to do it to make sure you guys get all this content. And so we here that create this content, just understand this, that we know there's a demand for it. And what we're doing is trying to fill in those blanks for you guys during the season, off season, and trying to get you to the, just keeping us going. And so you got to respect what Paul does and what Bearski Film does, man. So I take my hat off to you and thank you. And I really look forward to us trying to figure out how we can do some stuff together, because I think between us, I believe it could be some dynamite shit coming out of it. Because I'm telling you right now, I got some beats for some of the
Gotcha.
videos that you do. I'm
Yeah, man.
passing them on to you just to see
Yeah,
what you think
just
of
real
them.
quick, I just want to share the love, man, because you got a great designer in J2K yourself, man. Real
Yeah,
good stuff, J2K.
he is
Super impressive, really good designs. I mean, all of that stuff's really awesome.
he's fucking awesome, man. And how that all works is because we all vibe over here, man. We just vibe. That's what it is, man. We vibe like a motherfucker around here, and we all kind of love each other. And anybody that wants to, welcome to that environment. That's what it's over here. It's a lot of good vibes and love and friendship and connection going on over here. That's what we do over here at the Nomad Network, man. We just build bridges and try to be connected to each other and understand that, you know, it was a testy time during that, during this off season before Justin was gone, and a lot of people, felt a certain way about that whole situation. But that's behind us now. Put that shit past us. We got a lot of shit to look forward to. Forget all that stuff, man. It happened. People expressed how they felt about it, and that's the end of it. We move forward with what we have and continue to be blue and orange at the end of the day. So, with that being said, man, I want to thank everybody one more time for coming, man, because there is a serious vibe, and I can feel that energy coming back tonight. That energy is real, especially on this network. There's going to be a lot more content coming out. Look forward to what Kez is doing with Superflex and that fantasy show. So anybody that wants to play fantasy, even if you're a newbie to it, don't feel like you don't have a role or you don't have a place in fantasy football. People will show you what to do. If you want to be involved, get yourself involved. Get yourself involved. And for all those who want to be involved, bring along people. Bring people along with you. So if you want to be involved, get your homies, get your girlfriend, get whoever you're connected to, and bring them to the table, and we can make this into something that we think it can be. And so we can't just do it by ourselves. We can have a great looking show, a great looking format, great looking intro. But if you guys, this community, don't get involved, it won't be nothing. And so I say that about everything we're doing. Kids' show, J2K designs, Bearski Films, everything that we're doing, the website where we're selling merchandise. Without the community, none of it even exists. And so thank you guys ahead of time. Any of the new subscribers, if you're new to the show, and this content is new to you, man, please hit the subscribe button for us. Like the channel. That really, really helps us. So with that being said, I just want to thank you guys one last time before we get out of here and leave you with this. If you can think it in this world, if you can see it in this world, you can manifest it in this world if you want to. It's all up to you. We are out.